Hey guys, it's ViewMasters Reactions, and we're back with episode 44, Campaign 2, Part 1. I had my hood up, but it was literally echoing in my head, and I figured I was going to end up dying after 2 hours of straight Critical Role. The reason I'm wearing it, not only because it's Gilmore's robe and it's amazing and fabulous, but it is like negative degrees outside. It's probably in the teens at this point. We talked on Friday. I'm pretty sure Friday during the live stream, it was already like 7 degrees, so we're still dealing with that Monday morning. And we're back on our normal path. Through Campaign 2, we are starting episode 44. We took a week off. We had Christmas. We had the holidays. We didn't take a week off of Critical Role, though. We still did the night before Christmas. We did the live stream, which was one of the longer ones we've done in a while. The show itself, the episode we watched, from the break to the end was 2 hours and 40 minutes, I want to say. So almost a 3-hour live stream. I was going to have my brother do it with me, but he ended up having prior engagements. Now, a lot of you told me, don't just go right to when Matt Mercer starts talking in episode 44 around the 7-minute mark. Around the 7-minute mark is something you guys said I should react to. I started reacting to it, and I'm like, I have seen this multiple times. Not that there's a problem with me reacting to it again. I just was like, oh, I've seen this before, and then I stopped it. And then I was like, maybe I should have just kept reacting to it, but I'm not kidding. I'm pretty sure I've reacted to that at least 2 times, like reacted to it. I know I've seen it dozens of times because after you guys told me to watch it the first time, I rewatched it a bunch of times. Then when Molly died, I remember somebody said, go watch it again. And that's when we saw the flag or his tapestry or whatever you want to call it on the stick where he was buried. Then Caduceus came into play. And then there was the wings of Yasha at the end. I've seen it many, many times. So no sense in reacting to it again. I would have had to restart the whole thing. That is the new intro. I didn't realize that. I probably did know that and just forgot over time, because if I reacted to it, I would have heard Matt Mercer right after say, this is our new intro. That was way back when. And even when I rewatched it with Molly, I didn't rewatch Matt Mercer discussing it after. I probably just watched whatever D&D Beyond thing that was that I watched it on. I forget what the title was, but you could go watch my reaction to it by itself. We didn't react to the episode. We reacted to that segment, I feel like. And then I did it again, I feel like, unless I just did it for you guys in a live stream. Either way, I'm starting it right from the end screen. You guys can see here, if I go like that, we're starting it right from here, only because I was looking at this and I remember when we first saw it or last saw it or both times that most of these are villains in this campaign, I'm assuming, but a lot of them I still don't recognize. The dude in the middle, right under the dragon, looks pretty crazy. Looks like a skeleton wizard or something. He's got a staff, I feel like. The other dude on the other side reminds me of like one of the Briarwoods, kind of. And then the rest are a bunch of crazy beasties. We did see the 2-headed giant over there, I want to say. This dude over here, the guy with the horns, looks pretty familiar. Then there's this weird blobby looking tentacle thing with eyes all over. Let's just jump in. The way we ended it was we had Caduceus and Jester using a location spell. We got some blips. We found what we thought was the location of the ship. We couldn't find anything to do with the orb, but we send Frumpkin down as an octopus. He rolls pretty high, finds something. We go there. We all go underwater. We have whales and all sorts of beautifulness. And we find Ford's broken ship. I can't wait to find out. It's called the Diver'S Grave. We know that's the area, but I feel like this episode's going to be pretty good. You guys want to see more of what I do? Full unedited episodes, all the shows on the channel, seasons ahead of what you're seeing, hundreds of exclusives you'll only see on Patreon. The link is at the end. Dozens of shows you'll never see on YouTube. I just don't have time to edit it all. Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Stargate, Battlestar, Fringe, Black Butler, Toriko, Steven Universe. We're starting Vox Machina Season 2 and The Last of Us in about 3 weeks. Check it out. If not, jumping in. Campaign 2, Episode 44, Part 1. Ooh, that was extremely loud in my ears. I think that looks sharper too. Maybe I'm just crazy. But I feel like the Critical Role is sharper. Like, it was a little fuzzy usually. And I did watch the beginning. I watched the whole beginning. All about
The
how
Mighty
they did it
Nine,
and stuff like
after
that.
being pulled through a series of pirate
The D&D
adjacent
Beyond thing I'm
and straight up
talking about.
pirate adventures across the Slovene Islands here in the Lucidian Ocean.
Oh, subtitles.
On the ship, the Squall Eater, under the Captain Avantika's rule, you made your way to
Might take a
Darktoe,
lot.
where you attempted to find a way
Matt, give
to
me your
discredit her, find a way to not be dragged into her business in the future. It got a little messy, but you managed to avoid it coming to too terrible a head until
I
you
know,
were brought to her
underneath I
ship
got forward.
last week,
But
where
we're
a
gonna cover it.
battle unfolded in which most of you managed to skitter away with the contents of this journal that you had taken from her, as well as the translation for the cipher that was used to write it. Managed to make your way to the Plank King in time and
We're re-going
have
over
him
everything.
bring
I
his
like it.
resources
Nice
to the
little
docks
recap.
before any more of you could be further destroyed. Summoning a demon helped as part of the distraction, as well as patiently waiting. Some quick thought process moments. You guys did pretty damn well.
That's all.
You managed
Like
to
half
just break
bourbon,
enough laws
It's water. It's 50-50 bourbon. water.
to be
On the
put not
rock,
in
it
favor of the
was.
Playing King, but managed to have done a large favor enough to be let leave and never return. Taking the hobbled ship that you guys had busted with you, you made your way out into the open ocean, heading northeast from Darktoe and the Drag Shallow Reef in search of the possible shipwreck that started Ford's destiny in the direction
I
of
thought we
Okatoa.
confirmed it was. I feel like someone
After days of
said
travel
something in Talks
and
Machina or
a
something.
few location spells.
Because I feel like we
cast,
know this is for
you managed to find a blip
Unless it's
at the
just
base of
that
the sea.
obvious, and I am a
You-
genius. Or both.
using your newfound ability to instill the ability to breathe water within the party around you. You sunk to the bottom, holding onto cannonballs, and began to walk the bottom floor in search of this shipwreck. Eventually coming upon kind of a valley caldera that kind of slowly sinks down. And you noticed, aside from the whale that just skimmed your
There
presence,
was a whale about 60 feet.
the bow of a derelict, wrecked ship sitting there, surrounded by seaweed and the barely visible creeping daylight making it this deep in the waters. So, with your lights aglow,
With your
and the wreck
lights
before you,
aglow. I love
Mighty
it.
Nine, what do you want to do?
I saw it. That's all I needed. We can head back up now.
That's it?
Good.
That's it. Ford's good. We don't need to do any more
We're pushing
investigating.
through. No. Yeah.
No.
So we're just searching for the orb?
Well, I mean that'd be great if we could.
I
Find
feel like
that.
we'll find clues
Do you
on
have
the
any
ship.
idea of where it might be?
No.
All right.
No.
Is there anything else we should look for?
Jester rolled a 21
Let's
and
just
was searching
see
for any
what's down
signs of
there
the orb
in
and got
general.
nothing. But we did
And if-
find the ship.
Hope it goes without saying. if you
21's a
find
pretty
any
high roll.
Remains. Let's be respectful.
Of course.
Do you have like a pair of jammies or something that you lost in the boat? Do you want us to look for? Like your
Jammies.
bedroom or something in there? No?
No.
Okay.
Do we see any other?
A pair of
sea life?
jammies, yes. I know it's
We'll get to
Jester.
that, because there was
But
a note left
anything
here on
on
my
that
table.
ship, unless it's made of.
That I almost forgot because the game has started, and this was written and left behind by Logic. as he passed through earlier, and it says flip over and read as soon as the game starts.
Oh no.
What?
You, Sir Matt, are the sexiest being in all of Neverland. Sincerely, your boo, Logic.
Has no relevance. I thought it was like actually going to be some like secret.
canon.
Thank you, buddy.
It's canon.
Thank God it's not. Here's an astral dreadnought.
Yeah, I know. He's just loading the gun against you guys for the game tonight. That'd be
Does
pretty
that
fun.
mean that Logic was the whale that just passed?
There you go.
Logic was the whale.
So we still have,
Are
we
they?
still have
We,
Pass Without a Trace.
we've discussed this
I
before.
just cast it
In Talks
because of that
Machina,
whale.
Oh, that's
many
right.
times
Hey,
Brian
Caduceus.
has worn a
You
Logic
feeling any
shirt.
creepy?
I forget the
spooky
name, but it's one of the album
dead
covers.
people? Or crawlies.
I've
Make a
never
perception check.
really listened
right.
to. I know logic from Rick and
That's
Morty.
a good idea.
I'm
I'm also going to.
With disadvantage
but
because
pretty
there's no
much
light
beyond
here
that,
and it's a very
nothing.
short
I know logic
range, I'd say.
for no reason.
Because you guys
I
extinguish all
might
your
have heard
lights
the
when
song.
you...
Yeah,
Natural
I
one.
Ooh,
Yeah.
starting out right.
Perception checks?
If you want to.
I
Also,
reckon
I'm gonna
if you like you
cast Eyes
gave
of
me
the
like
Grave,
a
just
group
I'm
of
gonna
people,
do
I
this
probably
all
could
the
pick
time,
them out of a
so-
group because I've seen them before.
Eyes of the Grave.
But I can. Crap. I mean, maybe he's a great
and
guy.
that's
I
a
just
perception
don't
of
know.
22.
With disadvantage?
Oh, with disadvantage. Sorry.
Because there you do not have dark vision.
12.
And
12.
and it's very dark under here, and the distance is very. You don't have any lights up.
12.
We did have lights up.
You extinguished them when the way out
Lights
came by.
up.
You can put the
That's
lights
right,
back
we
on.
did.
Oh, I was okay. I thought we had
And I
put
have
them back
dark
up,
vision.
but
That's true. You do have dark vision.
I'm
The first
taking
one was 5, so
Talos'
6.
hair.
Okay, there you go. 6,
12
12. Okay.
with Eyes of the Grave.
Got you. Eyes of the Grave, you don't sense anything gathering your attention as you attempt to kind of reach out your essence to feel for any undead presence. Nothing. But the very cold waters here beneath still keep you a bit chilled. It is very, very, very cold down here. Looking around best you can with the lack of light, aside from the like swaying bits of seaweed that are all, kind of fluttering up and slowly swaying, reaching up hundreds and hundreds of feet before the darkness takes them, and you see the bow of that wrecked ship. Not much else catches your attention.
Ford, what was the name of the ship again?
You know the ship that
Does he
started your whole
know?
The tide's breath.
The tide's breath.
The ship that starts your entire
The paper you turned in 9 months ago.
tide's breath.
I don't think I named it in my backstory.
And it's the tide's
tide's
breath.
I'm
It's
going
not
to
breath,
summon
like
Frumpkin to my
BREATH,
shoulder
there's a
and
D.
just
Is
look
that
through Frumpkin's eyes
proper?
because Frumpkin, as
Bread?
an octopus, has dark vision. So I will see that way.
Perception check with Frumpkin.
Oh, not so good. That's his? Just a 7. Not so
Yeah,
good.
still a shipwreck. There's a shipwreck ahead of you guys.
When
We are
step,
getting
does it make like a
absolutely
powder
nowhere.
go up because it's like from the
I mean,
as you do step across the,
We
the-
might
the-
end
the
part
surface
one
of the-
without
of the
having
seafloor,
discovered anything,
there
'cause
are
we're
bits of
already
the
more than
silt and
halfway
sediment
through.
that kind of clouds around your foot with each footfall.
This is all just fish poop. See that nut?
No, no thanks.
Should we go? Should we go? Should
I'm
we go?
perfectly happy to head towards this.
Yeah,
go
let's,
for it.
let's get
You said
going.
we have past
Let's
the
get
I'm gonna
this show
try
on the
to
road
drink
here.
underwater.
Like a seal.
Okay.
Gonna attempt to drink alcohol underwater.
Yes. So you take and you tip it back, and the thing is, in order for the liquid to leave the vessel, you have to send air to occupy the space. There's a transition there, but you're breathing water, so it will mix water with whatever's in there.
Ooh, salt water.
All right, we got some watered down.
You're gonna get the
Booze.
poops if you do it.
Oh, but it's salt water.
Coax
Super
it out.
dehydrating,
Booze, yeah.
Oh, in the ocean.
Coax it out.
coaxing out the salt water.
I mean, you're not having to siphon it like gasoline. As soon as you open it, it just goes, begins to diffuse into the nearby.
I was gonna say
It's very, very
unless,
briny alcohol.
Gets the job done.
gets the job done.
This darkened cloud is
Yeah,
just
you
like
probably could have
filling around
avoided
Knott's
the
face.
amount you had, but hey, it's all in good
Is
fun.
this where the Shilla is? Or is she at a different place?
Oh, per the song?
Yeah.
I mean,
It said that she was in this Diver'S grave general location.
yeah.
So
Oh,
maybe
so
she's
there
not
could
here.
be something really scary in here.
Yeah. that
I
she
mean, but what are the
apparently-
chances? The ocean's huge.
The chances are really good for it. They're really good.
Yeah, you have our luck.
She's probably
Seen
right
it.
about that.
The chances are really
Yeah, I
good
get it.
for it. Really good.
Apparently she has a hungry eye.
Out of eyes right now. All right, we'll push forward.
Hungry eyes.
All right. You guys
Dirty
begin to
Dancing.
approach, stepping
Quality. I
carefully
like it.
towards the base of this, and the
was a
ship
nice
is where it's
reference.
sitting. It's kind of resting at an odd angle. The front of it, the bow, just kind of slightly angled upward. You can see the side where this large explosion just tore through the hull. And already, for as long as it's been there, which has not been but a year maybe tops, you can see the rust and the barnacles.
Been there about a year. All right. I like
the
they're confirming dates and
to
stuff.
join.
Because I always like drift.
That's best you
in
can
the
make out with
realm
the lack
of-
of light down here.
Is he immortal? Is he a Highlander and it crashed 500
Should
moons
we
ago?
stick together, or do we want to fan out and go around?
At least we know
Sam.
burps are contagious.
From getting ahead of us to have a look around if you think that is wise.
This is
That's funny.
Yes, it is.
bourbon
As we get
and
closer, can we
water.
see
I
from
said that
outside
before,
the
and
ship
this
the
is
extent
pomegranate and OJ.
the extent of the damage from the initial explosion?
You'd probably have to go around a little bit, but yeah. You can walk around the opposite side of it, looking, and you can see, like there's some damage. You can see there are holes blown out on the side that you were facing. As you curve around, you can see where there was
Flagged
just a
images.
large
Poor
gaping hole
Kiri.
in the side of the cargo hold.
So, Ford, I know we've heard this story probably a dozen times, but can you refresh us on what happened the day this ship sank?
Please do,
I
honestly.
chased Sabian down into the hull of the ship, and he was messing with a package, and I saw a fuse burning, and as I chased him back up above deck, there was an explosion, and it threw me from the ship. It's nice to know that it wasn't like a small explosion. It was a real motherfucker of a thing, apparently.
Or was it separate? I'm assuming that was what it
Pursued
was.
by anyone?
But it could have been.
No, we were
more
just
than
in a storm.
that. Maybe, possibly. You never know.
He wasn't supposed to go below decks either. That wasn't normally his thing. So it was strange. And when he went down there, I saw him. When I confronted him, he threw a dagger into my chest.
Oh, that's an important part.
Yeah, well, he turned on me real fast. He seemed to know that what he was doing wasn't up to snuff. And when I chased him above, he was at the bow of the ship, getting ready to exit or jump off. Obviously knew what was coming next, and then the explosion went, and the last thing I saw was the ship as I was being thrown off.
So, you all were double-crossed, clearly.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I
normal.
I don't know why, though.
Okay, that's normal behavior of everybody.
I didn't see anybody.
Sabian. I mean, I remember that. I'm just trying
Onward,
to
I
like,
guess.
file things.
And he made it off safely?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was going
I
to say,
assume-
we don't know what happened to him. That's kind of where I
You
was
did
going.
hear tale of him
And we did hear
passing
about him in
through
Nicodranus.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
not too long ago.
that
so
was who we
That was
heard
the same
right
person
before
as
the shit hit the fan.
No,
No,
Sabian was,
Sabian.
yeah, he was someone I grew up with who was also brought by Vandrin to work on this ship.
Gaia.
Yeah, I've known him for many, 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 many years. He's always been a piece of shit of one variety or another. Only in the most recent years did I think that maybe that stuff had sort of faded between us and we had found a way to work together, but apparently not.
As you guys have gotten closer to around the side
right.
of the ship where the most extensive damage was taken, you can see where the top of the deck and the edges are blackened from what seems to have been a fire that broke out probably during or shortly after the explosion, but before it sank fully. The edges of the cargo hold that are blown open, as soon as you begin to peer on the inside, you can see the interior is blackened as well, amongst the other patches of sea life that have begun to reclaim it as a home.
I mean, I would have to
And
assume
bits
that
of,
Sabian,
seaweed
was
in
after
general,
whatever everyone
sea
else is
vegetation that
after.
has begun to
Unless
find
it was
its
just
way
totally unrelated.
inside the empty ship.
Ooh, as an idea, the sword in my hand, as we start to push in through that hole of the explosion or peer in, can I lead with the sword and see if the light and or eye is reacting in any sort of way, or is it just static?
Make a perception check.
I like that. I dig it. I dig where he's going. I don't honestly think
9.
anything will come of it.
9.
9. As you begin to swim in to the darkened interior, holding the sword in front of you, doesn't seem to react, adjust, or give you any sense that it is able to or guide you in any particular direction.
You know, in the sea, certain creatures like to make homes of vessels. You want to send in your
Yeah, that's no problem. Give a little tug to the leather tied at my knee and
He
cast
ain't
mage
wrong.
armor, and I send Frumpkin in and reach for.
I just think it's
knot
funny. It's like
and hold
there
knot
might be
by the
something in
shoulder
here.
and
Could you
look
send
for
in your
Frumpkin's
cat?
eyes.
Well, he's an octopus
Send
now.
him in
But
to look.
So Frumpkin's octopus form kind of makes his way into the cargo hold of the Tide's Breath wreckage. Go ahead and roll a perception check for Frumpkin and take a
I
look
just
around.
never seen that spelling. Bread. It's bread with a th. The Tide's
terrible,
breath
5.
would make more sense, but maybe I'm
Unfortunately, there's
just
so
don't know
little light
terminology.
down
Maybe that's a
here.
word.
Even for the dark vision, there's the basic outline of the interior hold. You can see Frumpkin can notice, the outline of what looks to be pieces of broken crates and other
Flagged images soon to be
elements that
added.
may have
Toilet
once been
horse
stored
fan
within
art.
the ship.
The new
but
intro, not
very little details
all
visible.
images. Caleb brooding.
Well, do you think it is safe to send in some light with him?
Yeah, I
Tap
think.
me on the shoulder if you hear me, because I cannot hear you.
Oh,
Quick point of order. Who's got the node? We should probably decide now.
Oh, I have the node.
Who's the last to
Dodecahedron?
node? Are you noded?
I can node, but
Yeah.
somebody else could node.
why don't you know?
You node.
Yeah, you know.
That nodes.
Will water get in the bag if I look in?
I assume we would have done it. I was just playing flashback, but I don't know.
If you haven't yet, then you'll be doing it now.
Is it okay to do that?
I
One way to find out.
That sounds crazy.
No,
That sounds
that's
crazy.
on there, so
Yeah.
please.
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
it or
yeah.
anything.
That was more of a point of order. So.
Yeah, I
And
wouldn't be.
bowling
I
ball
wouldn't be doing
sending
that.
one
God
globule
knows
of
what'll
light
happen.
enough
What
to
if it's
Frumpkin
just
to go
filled
with
with
him.
endless water? Well,
It kind of emanates
Can't
and
be endless,
lights
but-
up the immediate vicinity. The balls don't give off a lot of light. They're not torchlight in comparison. They work in conjunction to create
Could
a
you
larger
collect
space of light. But
water
it does help
in
a little bit.
the bag at like a ridiculous rate
that
and then
benefit,
unleash it
looking
like
in
a
space,
like a
you can
wave.
see,
That'd be pretty cool.
There are no bodies. There are no signs of any individuals that were on the ship. But you also know from your experience in the sea that those who die at sea usually float to the surface. Yes. You do see some metallic materials that are grown rusted. You can see the shattered crates that I mentioned before. A lot of them are burned and destroyed. As Frumpkin kind of drifts past one of them, look inside, and like there may have been some metal bars or some sort of a construction type iron material, but it's mostly melted and fused together. And in fact, as Frumpkin makes his way around, all the elements of metal that were immediately in the vicinity, it looks like there was a cannon. There were some other bits of, all you can make out is debris at this point, but other things that were metallic in nature that have since kind of bowed and fused from the heat of the explosion and the fire that ensued thereafter before it sank.
It's mucky and dark in there. We would have to take a closer look. I cannot make out much.
If you don't mind, I know this ship better than anybody. Jester, would you come up with me and we can explore the captain's quarters? Might be a good place to start.
Of course.
Do you need a light?
No, I'm okay.
All right.
Do you need
I'll,
a light?
I'll drop the cannonball and I will push up off the ground, just the kind of Superman style in the water, and swim up above the deck.
Just, I guess I'll let this. I'm gonna. Okay.
Yeah, well,
I let it go
this'll
too
be home
and
base.
float very ungracefully.
Very ungraceful.
Now, because you guys don't have air in your lungs, you're not buoyant to the point where you're not fighting weight. It brought you to the bottom easier, so you don't have to swim your way to underneath. But now you're here, the cannonball isn't necessary to weigh you down,
Red Harris now.
essentially.
We're Ed Harris.
so you
now?
walk over
Is he
and you
doing an abyss?
Land
reference
on the
there?
deck, and for a moment, as you glance around, it's very spooky to be back in this familiar place in a very different setting. It's a strange ghost ship type chill that runs up your back, looking around and having flash memories of pulling up the anchor on that side and having conversations over that edge at sea. You and Van are having a deep conversation there under the main mast.
His quarters are that way. We should push forward.
Okay.
I'm wondering if I should
Swim
stop
over.
here.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. I probably
You swim
should.
through the door. It's currently open and kind of the hinges rusted and pulled off, and the tops of the door is broken and akimbo.
What is it?
You make
Kimbo?
way into the darkened interior chamber, and the door to Vandren's chamber is closed. want to do?
What do you want to do? That's a good place to stop. All right, guys. So there is the end of part 1, episode 44. The door is akimbo. I didn't know that was an actual word. I've seen the word akimbo in titles of movies referred to people. I think Daniel Radcliffe was in a movie called something akimbo or something. I just thought that was some thing or some word given to something, or a like Aikido or jujitsu. It was like akimbo. I literally thought it was something like that. I'm guessing the door is ajar. The door is ajar. My brother, one of the first cars he ever had, used to talk to us. Probably like late 90s. It was one of the first cars that actually had like digital readouts and could talk. And if you didn't close the door, it would literally go, the door is ajar. The door is like over and over and over. It would talk to you until you close the door. And I think something broke with it where it like would just keep saying it over and over regardless. But we are now inside the ship. We really haven't accomplished a whole lot. We already pretty much knew the ship was there. In the beginning, Matt Mercer said, or acted like it wasn't confirmed it was Ford's ship. Maybe in Talks Machina, they said it was or something, because I was pretty sure that we had confirmed it already. But regardless, it didn't matter because 5 minutes later we do. It's called the Tide's Breadth. Like bread with a TH, breadth. Ford asked Jester, yo, come up top. We're going to go check out my chambers. I know the ship better than anybody. We see that there are all sorts of burned areas of the ship. A massive explosion went off. Ford actually said, I remember chasing Sabian down, or Sabian went downstairs, shouldn't have been down there. I went to go see what he was doing. He stabbed me, went back up top, tried to jump off the ship, and that's when the explosion happened. I'm probably missing a couple details in there, but we've heard the story a bunch of times now. I don't recall him telling us that Sabian stabbed him. That makes a big difference, because I almost started thinking maybe we're misunderstanding or we're misinterpreting the situation. Maybe he was doing something else and the explosion went off accidentally, but after he said he stabbed him and then he went up top to jump ship, clearly he was blowing the ship up. Now, something else could have been going on too that created more havoc. But it seems like that's all we need to worry about, and that's all that is going on. It doesn't seem like there is more going on based on what we're experiencing and what everybody's saying. I am just going to jump into the Patreon hour. I feel like that 20 minutes went by so slow. Like, I feel like nothing happened. I feel like all the things I know are things we already knew, except maybe the Sabian part. We got a lot of recaps, basically. We recapped everything. Marisha even said, or Bo said, yo, could you tell the story again? That's how we even got the tale. And I appreciate it because I don't recall things. And I feel like he did leave a lot of things out initially. But now we're on the ship. I want to see what's up. You guys want to see more of what I do, full unedited episodes, all the shows on the channel, seasons out of what you're seeing, hundreds of exclusives you'll only see on Patreon. The link is in front of me. Dozens of shows you'll never see on YouTube. I just don't have time to edit it all. Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Battlestar, Stargate, Fringe, Black Butler, Toriko, Steven Universe, dozens of other shows starting Vox Machina Season 2 and The Last of Us in 3 weeks. Check it out. If not, comments down below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.